you, yeah. 'Cause you made it. 'Cause you made it this way. Oh, made it this way. Made it this way. Don't know what I would have done without you.
Good morning and welcome to Phases, the next level. I'm your host, Invalid Sunshine, and I'm so excited to be here for the first interview ever in Phases, the next level. I want to welcome my guest, Latoya Lee, and I'll also welcome my guest, Lisa Rogers. Today we are going to be talking about coping with death. And as I said before, Phases the Next Level is a platform where individuals can come and share their stories and hopefully get it out in the universe to help others to cope with anything that they're going through. I know Oprah Winfrey said before that she said in one of her interviews that at least 10 people somewhere is going through what you're going through. And so if we can get this story out and help others, that is what then I think that Phases has done their job. So my first question is going to be for Latoya. And the question is, Toya, first of all, I know that all three of us have experienced death, especially with a parent, and it's really an uneasy topic to talk about, especially when it's so fresh and so new. I've lost my father. Latoya has lost her grandmother, grandfather, and her mother, and Lisa has lost her mother really recent. I think Lisa's is the most recent death. Mm-hmm. So let's just this is just a time to have a conversation, kind of talk about what has gone on with us after the death, before the death, and how we deal with it, and maybe give other people some tools to cope with it. So the first question, Latoya, would be, what was your relationship with your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather prior to their death?
Prior to their death, I mean, our relationship, was actually, good with both of them. My grandparents, as most of you know, they raised me from the age of 2 until, I was grown. Right. So therefore, my mother, our relationship was more as a friendship, right. Kind of like she was like my best friend. So, I mean, it's been rough because I lost my grandmother on November the 22nd of 2014. I lost my grandfather on February 1st, 2015. And then my mother on January 31st, 2016. Yeah. So we had a great relationship.
That's good. So Lisa, what about your relationship with your mother? And how was that prior to her?
Prior, we were close, best friend. She would, tell mama anything. We did things together. We was close.
Yeah.
So I call her my mama and my best friend.
That's right. So I haven't lost my mother, but I have lost my father, and I know these girls are my friends. Lisa's my cousin, and they know from knowing my father, we had an amazing relationship. I am a daddy's girl to the core, and I'll always be that. And so my father passed away right in front of me. Like, I felt like I could have done more, and I've always beat myself up for that. But then as I read the Bible and I'm in my word, God helps me to get over that, because when he calls them, when God does his job, there's nothing we can do about that. So it was nothing I could do. It was just that I was where I was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And so that's hard. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes 7:1, a good name is better than a fine perfume, and the day of one's death is better than the day of one's birth. And what I take that to mean is that yes, we are all born and we live, but we all are going to die. But when we die, and if we've lived the life that we're supposed to live by Christ, at least try our best, because he knew that we wouldn't be perfect, that we would be in eternity, and that means life forever, right? Mm-hmm. And so that if we live our lives the best life we can and according to God's word, then maybe, we can all reunite again. And that's what carries me through dealing with my father's death, because I'm telling you, I would go to work and try to pick up the phone to call him after his death forever. Mm-hmm. And I just had to get used to that. It was hard, and still is, and it's been 5 years. Mm-hmm. So the next question is, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, let's go. Let's.
What you said, like with your dad, you saw it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I did too. I was there, I think the difference with all, I'm not really sure about you, Latoya, but I know with you and me, Marva, we were there. I don't know about again you, Toya, but I know that you weren't expecting that outcome. So we were expecting it. Like we had to get ready. We didn't have a choice, or we knew it was coming.
Right.
So that's even harder because it's like
It is.
now we know. Excuse me. And we still had to have that, I guess, game face on,
That's
like
it.
to let her know that we good, you're good, and we just gonna go until we can't.
Right. I also would want to add that I don't care how much you know that is coming. I don't care if you know, if you can never prepare yourself. They'll be like, well, I knew it was gonna happen. I don't care about, I don't think that it makes it any easier to know that this loved one is going. I think it's even worse because they know they're gonna go, and now what are they thinking, and how come I can't take that from them, right? So my dad was well, like he got well. We was in Oklahoma City. The doctors came in and they checked him. They was like, well, whatever they did here, the infection's gone. You good. So now all we got to do is get you prepared to go home. And so he ate his breakfast, laid down, and he said, no, I need to get back up. And I said, okay. My mother hadn't slept at all. So I was letting her sleep. And he was like, no, I better raise back up. When I raised him up, y'all, he fell back and had a heart attack right there. Just me and him. That's tough. Yeah. And people say, well, you look like you okay. I look like I'm okay. Right. But behind closed doors. And that's where I keep it, behind closed doors. Right. Because if I didn't have Christ in my life, I don't know what I would do.
I tell my kids that all the time. Just because I'm walking around here smiling and singing, I am dying on the inside. Yeah, but I try to keep going because I know that they're watching. I know she's watching, but it is rough, and you're right. Even though we did know, it's just like, I don't know. It's almost like we stepped outside. We had to step outside of ourselves to be strong enough to just
They say it's okay to cry or whatever, but and it is. But I don't like to cry in front of my kids because I don't want them down.
Right.
So
I don't like to either. But you got to, when it comes, you got to let it out.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter where you are, like I'll be, at the store or see some memory or hear a song on the radio, and they're coming. There ain't no holding back, and it feels better to me to let it out.
Yeah,
because holding it in, that's not good. That's not a good.
I was taught that, like another lady, an older lady, was like, "You gotta cry. You gotta cry," and I would fight it. I'm not crying. He wouldn't want me to be feeling like this, but I think he would want me to heal, and crying is healing. So my next question is, what if any regrets did you have? Either one of you have, or if any. And if you had regrets, how did you handle it? Because we all had a good relationship with our loved one. But is there anything that you would change knowing, that it was coming? Or just prior to that, I know I would probably spend more time, with him and give him more hugs. He was a hugger anyway. And every conversation at the end, we said, I love you. But what regrets did you have, Lisa?
Just
if any?
Not making time. Because she would, she really couldn't go too far out the house, but it would be before she got bad where she couldn't go out the house. Well, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there. And I'm just like, Or towards the end where she was having a hard time breathing or whatever, she would still be up trying to run her vacuum and everything. So I would make my kids go over there when I feel like I should have went over there and run the vacuum. So that bothers me.
Oh yeah.
And I would say time, because of course I was in Texas for 9 years, so I was away for all that time. So when I did come back, I had 6 months that I didn't know. That was the only 6 months that I was going to have with my mother. So definitely time. As I look back, I'm like, man, we should do this. Like, we could have went there.
Right. The Bible also says that, it says that you don't let no man. So this is from Ecclesiastes. And he says in chapter 7, since no man knows the future, who can tell him what is to come. So you didn't know.
Right.
We didn't know.
Mhm.
Like, I thought my daddy was going to get in that car and come back home with us.
Mhm.
And so I didn't know. And it says, we don't know the time or place, when it's going to happen, but we know it's going to happen.
Right.
And then especially when they're ill, we know it's coming, but we just don't know when.
Right.
And so there's a lot of stuff, a long laundry list of things that we could say that we would have done different. But you know what? God has a plan, and he has it written all out for us. So everything that happened, it happened like it was supposed to.
That goes back, you say, God has a plan. So,
Mhm.
no, I didn't make a lot of time for my mama when she was alive. But I'm going to tell you what, that last 2 weeks, I did not leave her side. And for that, I'm kind of, it's kind of evens out, I guess, because it's like, no, we didn't get to do a lot of fun things, but I was there, and that's something that I wouldn't change. It was rough, but if I wouldn't have been there, I'd probably be in the nut house.
Yeah, because I remember Lisa a lot of times, like even at the end, she was like, "Where's Lisa? Where's Lisa?
Mhm.
Can you go get Lisa for me?" And so that's important. And Lisa was in reach where we could say, "Lisa, your mom wants you. Go back in there." So that was good. She was there. So when our mom called for her, it wasn't like, well, we gotta wait for her to get here.
Yeah.
She was there.
Right.
So that's a positive. So we probably already talked about this, but when you have a moment, like it comes over you. So first of all, you guys were handpicked. Like, I could have chose anybody, but why I chose you, Toy, is because I feel your pain on Facebook when you say you're having a day.
Mhm.
I'm having a moment. I feel that, and I feel what you're going through because I may not put it out because I don't want people to know, right? But I feel your pain, and I was like, I gotta talk to her.
Mhm.
And then for Lisa, I was just there with her. I've been through her pain. I feel her pain. She's my cousin. She's my
Right.
sister. And I feel like her father was like, can you please, just talk to her because you seem like you're doing good. And I might look like that. But if it's something I can give Lisa to get through it, how I get through it, or am I doing it the right way,
Right.
to get through it. But, so when you have those moments, what, like you said, maybe a song or something brings it on. And so how do you handle that moment?
I go in my prayer closet. I give it to God. I mean, I just look to God for everything. Because I know he is constant and he's going to be there no matter what.
That's right. He's a sovereign God, and you're right, he never changes. Lisa, when you have your moment, what is your moment? Like, what brings it on, do you think?
It could, if I think about her, and usually when I think about her, it's that last, those last moments.
Mhm.
So that's what brings it on. So I try not to even just think about that.
That's me.
But when they do, because sometimes they come on through, and I, like you said earlier, Toy, if I let them fall, the tears, I could be at my desk, I could be at the store, I could be in church, at home, wherever. I just let them fall, and I thank God for my time that I had with her, and I try to make myself have peace with where she's at now, because I know that she got a brand new set of lungs, and
That's right.
they
are made whole.
She's good. So, music, I cannot listen to Anita Baker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
it just starts. The tears really come. So I try to, like I say, I just try to think about the good things before she got sick.
Those help.
It helps.
Those moments help.
It helps, and I try it, and then sometimes I feel guilty because I'm like, don't think about her. But I'm telling myself, don't think about her to keep my emotions in check. But then I feel like, well, if you don't think about her, then it's like you forgetting about her.
That's right.
Right.
And I definitely don't want to forget about her, so I just let them fall. I also found that I'm so busy, or I have been so busy, trying to keep my own emotions in check that I haven't even said to my kids, like, are y'all okay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm so busy.
Which brings us
Trying
to the next question, Lisa. I'm glad you said that because I had to go tell my kids. Like, we were all in Oklahoma City, but my cousin came and he and his wife took my kids home, and me and my mother stayed at the hospital with my dad. So when they saw him, he was fine. So then you have to go the next morning and go tell your kids? Did you have to tell your kids?
I did. Well, I did. What happened at the incident? Well, when my mom passed away, that was a sudden thing.
Mhm.
So that was nothing. Didn't see this coming. 4 hours prior, she was at my house. We were talking,
That's so
laughing,
hard.
and But it was weird because as we were talking, I was looking directly in her eyes,
Mhm.
and it was like the color was like they were clear.
My
And I'm like, so she kept saying what she was going to do the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And because she was off work, she's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do such and such, such and such. Well, there's this voice in my head. Well, what if you're not here tomorrow? And I'm like,
Oh my
like I just shook my head like,
what a
in the world?
testimony.
I'm like, okay. So we're talking. And as she's talking, I'm just looking directly in her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're just changing. And I was like, oh, okay. I said,
Oh
well, you
my
have fun
God.
tomorrow, on your day off. I was like, well, call me later. She was going home to go cook. She's like, okay, I'll call you back. Well, she never did call me back. A couple hours later, so I was like, let me go over here. She must have took a nap because she takes a nap after work. That's normal routine.
Right.
So I go over there, and normally I know she's asleep. Charles answered the door, she's asleep or whatever. So I'm like, I'm going to go in here and jump on the bed, just wake her up, mess around. That's what I always did.
Yeah.
That particular day, Marva, I didn't do that. And so sometimes I feel like, man, like, what if I would have went in there? What if I would have, just jumped on that bed?
Yeah.
But as my husband said, Toy, God didn't want you to see that. That was not for you to see. So when he told me that she was asleep, I said, oh, well, tell her to call me when she get up, So I go back home. 2 hours after that, they were knocking on my door, saying that she wasn't breathing. So I told my kids, but they kind of overheard, the conversation. So we ran down there, or me and my husband ran down there. The kids went across next door to a neighbor, and the paramedics are there, doing what they do. And so they take her out, put her in the ambulance, and still, they was working the whole time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like.
Wow.
So
your kids just really overheard, and you.
So they overheard before why I let them go to school that next day and everything, and so once they got home from school, then we told them, which they kind of already knew, but.
Gosh.
So yeah.
Lisa, your children.
My children. Well, as you know, Mama was in the hospital and up talking, which we knew she had an illness, but we didn't. We just thought we had more time. I forgot what I was going to say.
So were they all there?
No. The two oldest ones were with. I don't even know where they were. That's so crazy.
Can't remember.
They were at home because we had went home to Mom's, so that's where they were. And my youngest one stayed with my dad that night. So when she passed, we were there. Me and my brother, my aunt, auntie, your mom, and my cousin Tori. And it was like go time, but it was like it's time. We're not calling hospice or nothing. It's just time. So we were there talking to her. And when she took her last breath, we prayed,
That's good.
And then I called my two oldest ones over there. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I got the call like 2 days before that it could be a matter of days or hours before that's how much time she had. So I was at home and she was in the hospital that day. And so I called my sons because Leah was at home at Mama's, and we just immediately prayed because I was like, this is what has happened, and we need to pray for Grandma right now. So we went and told Leah. When she passed, I called the oldest two over to the house, so they got to see her. Aaliyah, Aaliyah's pretty vocal. She's a little emotional. Yeah. Eric is strong, so he didn't,
I can see that.
He just didn't say anything, and Caleb was probably the closest to her out of all three of them because he was over there all the time,
Yep.
Which he has her room now, so he took it pretty hard, having to tell him because I don't think that Caleb really knew how bad it was.
Yeah. Sometimes we can be in denial too.
Yeah.
Whenever we don't want it to happen, we can just be in denial. So we're just about to wrap up. And so I'll just say about my kids, I had to go over there, drive. I'm driving my mama.
Mm-hmm.
This was like, we're in the days now. Like, I don't know which way to go. I don't know how to drive. When I get over there, of course, they're like, where Papa?
Mm.
And my son just screamed out loud. And my daughter got on my lap and just cried. And so I'm just like, I don't know what to do because I got my mama,
Right.
I got my kids,
Right.
and then I got I have my own emotions, right?
Right.
We got lost coming home. I've never gotten lost coming home from Tulsa, Oklahoma City.
Mhm.
I don't know where we were at. But I know when we drove up in my mom's driveway, we just had to sit there because like how to get out of the car. We didn't even know how to get out the car, right? So anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. I appreciate y'all being here and sharing with me. I just want to say I just want to ask one last question really quick so we can go. If you have anything to share with anybody that you think that could help somebody to cope with it, because we can't stop death. We just can't. What one thing or couple of things would you give somebody to cope with? And if I can, I'll start first with mine so y'all can think. Just what would you put out there for somebody? My thing would be to get closer to the Lord. You in the Bible, there are so many verses, as you see, that relates to any situation you have. You could go to the Bible. You could say your prayers, and I promise you, that's what gets me through. That's why I can smile. That's how I can support my kids and support my mother who cried. I mean, she went from in shock, like just in shock, can't say nothing, to crying every single day, to being mean. So you have this roller coaster of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And then me, I'm like, how do I get? And then I had to call my brother and sister. They on the way on the highway coming to say, just turn around. You know how hard that is.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can give somebody one thing, what would you give them? Either one of y'all can go first.
You said that you go to God. I have to say, I got mad at God.
Happens.
And so I didn't really talk to him at first. I didn't really talk to him because I felt like after all the praying, and she's such a good woman, why her?
Yeah.
But then my dad had to break it down to me. He was like, you know how God is your father. Mm-hmm. So you have to think of it as this is just something that God, like your dad told you no, basically. Your dad told you no on this one. So that's
good. That was a good example.
That's how I look at it. So I'm not mad at God no more. I am disappointed. But it's just, my dad said no that time, Lean on God, even that's what I'm saying. Even if you get mad, even if you don't understand why your mama, that's me and my brother's biggest thing. Why her? Mm-hmm. Why my mama? Mm-hmm. So just know that it's not for you to understand. We read the Bible. Me and my mama and your mother was there. Mm-hmm. Proverbs 3:5. Do not lean on your own understanding. You can't. You're not gonna understand.
Yep.
But keep it with God.
That's true.
And when you want to cry, let it out. Because if you don't, you're going crazy.
Yeah, I know.
And
I've learned
focus on the positive part of her life and spend time while you got them still.
I've learned to cry.
Mm-hmm. That's the same for me. I mean, you got, if you don't know God, you got to get to know Him when you're going through something like this, because He is your comforter. Amen. He is going to get you through it all. Yes, you're going to have your bad days. Mm-hmm. I still have mine. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I will continue to have them. Mm-hmm. But with the peace of knowing that God is by my side, I get through it every time.
Right. And the last verse I wanted, with us saying this, the last verse is Ecclesiastes, and this is verse 8. No man has power over the wind to contain it, and no one has power over the days of his death. We didn't have control. We don't have control of that.
Right.
God is in total control, and we have to trust that what He does, He knows what He's doing, and He'll get us through. So again, ladies, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. This is tough, and even now I had to fight back tears just hearing y'all's story. I didn't know. Lisa's, but I didn't know, Toy, and that's tough. So I'm going to learn to cry. I'm gonna learn to show my emotions so that I can be stronger. I don't care if it's 5 days, 5 years. It's hard. Because
Right.
that's my daddy, you know, and he was my kid's everything. He was my everything. My mom, 50 years, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you guys you ladies for coming. If anybody out there has a story to share, that's what Phases the Next Level is all about. We want you contact me if you have a story. We're not just at Phases just talking about stuff and rambling on. We're talking about real life issues, good stuff, bad stuff. It doesn't matter because life takes us on roller coaster rides. We're up and we have downs. So again, thank you for joining us. Please subscribe, like, and share. Please comment below because we want to hear what other people say. And if you have something to say about coping with death, we want to know about it. So maybe it can help us. Have a good Saturday. We love you. Say your prayers. Bye-bye. That's it. Cut.
What I'll do with that is I can